So,
Shmuel asked me to talk about the machlokes between the Gdolim. I really don't know much about it, but I'll talk about 2 points. First point, since my emunah is not so strong, I prefer that there's no machlokes. The machlokes weakens the emunah. Right? You think, how could it be such big people can't agree, can't take a vote, can't have to fight each other. So because of my tendency that I want it to be peace, and I want to look for Hashem, and I want to look for goodness. So this whole thing, all nastiness, it's muktzimach masmiyis for me. I really don't like it. So, but again, it exists. There's nothing you can do. It exists. But since I don't talk to too many people, something of a quiet nazir. So I basically ignore it, and that's one point. And another point, which is maybe opposite, I don't know exactly how to put these two things together. One is chesed, one is gvura. Judaism disturbed by the Kanoi Litvische world, by the Chafetz Chaim and the Chazon Ish and the Soloveitchik family. These Gedolim seem to be very negative. And
Chafetz Chaim? Negative.
You let people talk. Is there anything more negative than that? Until the time of Chafetz Chaim, people spoke. People spoke. That was their hanoah. For a lot of people, that was the biggest hanoah. They didn't have much to eat. The pleasure was to talk, like we see from Shalom Aleichem, we see from Tevye the Milchaka. He was talking about that was his favorite expression. Now, the Tevye actually speak Lashon Hara, I don't know. We have to give the Tevye the Milchaka to some expert in Lashon Hara, and he has to check it out. I don't know if Tevye speaks Lashon Hara, maybe not. But tremendous.
Where do you know the Chafetz Chaim didn't let people speak?
It's a fact of life. Before the Chafetz Chaim, people spoke, and after the Chafetz Chaim, people are afraid to speak. I don't say that people don't speak. People speak plenty, but at least they do so with a guilty conscience.
And certainly by the Chazon Ish, people used to come and talk and pour their houses and pour out their hearts to him. He was a tremendous listener.
The Chafetz Chaim, but the Chazon Ish is, I don't know, I was looking a little bit at it. Somebody put out this book about the Chazon Ish. You saw it?
Brown?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, I can get it for you if you want. My neighbor has it.
Say that. So
recommended.
So talking about over there about some get that is it kosher or not? That it's coming from India or something. I don't remember now. Right now the details, but the point that I'm trying to make is that the Chazon Ish, like, at a certain point, he turns around, he doesn't trust it anymore. In other words, he's so like, he's being such a complicated life and such a life what is the other guy really up to? And Yeshua Zemashu, because the other guy is usually up to no good. But he doesn't want to believe this get anymore, even though Pasha's to get is 100% for sure it's true. He wants to believe, he all of a sudden disbelieves that it's based on reality. I mean, this is an example. It's all these people are tremendous Talmidei Chachamim, but what makes them that way? In other words, somebody could write the book. What made the Chofetz Chaim, and the Chaznish and the Brisker Rab? I don't know, but there's definitely all these business that like this machlokes speaking about in the literature world today. It's all totzot of this type of, you don't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody. Everybody is choshud. In other words, that there's basically there's the world of the Rabbanim, and the Rabbanim are living in a much more sane mitzius, right? Because they're living in the real world, and they learn who to trust and who not to trust. And whereas in people living only in the Torah world, we're not living with Balabatim, we're living only in like abstract thinking. So there's no gvul to it. The gvul is not there. The gvul is provided by reality, by real people. Simple people living in the real world. What do you call it? If you living all your life in the world of texts, so actually something goes wrong. Okay.
All in text, they were more with the Briot, the Chazanish, the Chofetz Chaim, that Kabbalah's Kabbalah. How come they weren't up on an ivory tower? Betach Ami Ani Yoshevet.
Schneider is saying a thesis that there's two worlds. There's the world of the Rabbanim and the world of the lita. And the world of the Rabbanim is saner, and you can trust more what the Rabbanim say. There is two worlds. There's two separate worlds. I didn't make it up. I don't think. There are these two separate worlds, which there's a fallout. There's a fallout from the lita, that they lose contact with reality. Much more hostile. Reality cuts away the hostility with other people, because you have to get along with other people, right? So all different types of people. The Rav has to get along with all different types of people. So the hostility is cut away. But if you're only having to do with one type of person, with the Ben Torah the whole time, so the hostility gets built up against the other guy who has a little different girsa or a different mahalach. You get fighting. You get it's a dark world.
What about today's situation?
I don't really know, and it's just unfortunate. I mean, on the one hand, I'm saying the two different points that I made. The first point, so I'm very sorry that it exists, and it bothers me, and I want to run away from it and not pay attention to it, because it weakens the emunah. You see that such big people can't get along with each other. It's what's going on over here. I mean, the time of Chazal, they got along. They didn't have such bitter. The Bible of it didn't have such bitter conflicts. They were different. Right? Had weren't so bitter. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, what do you call it? I'm bothered by these people anyways, even if they wouldn't be fighting. I'm bothered by their approach to the Torah. So unbending. So what am I supposed to do with these people?
Well, Steinman certainly is very bending. That's why they're after him.
Steinmetz is like
Steinman.
Steinman, sorry. Steinman is like a chida. It's hard to understand it. I mean, he went along with the
Nachum Haredi.
It's hard to understand, but I mean, it's not as if he's saying, you know, all the things that Schneider just said. Look, this is too unbending. This is blah 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 blah, and we have to be more. Have Meir putting into the world the way it is. He's not saying that. You know, he's doing that maybe. You know, who's to say who's going to be the person after Rav Steinman? If Rav Steinman doesn't set up a sheet that doesn't say, listen, enough is enough. What do you call it? He just acts certain ways, which are not exactly understandable according to where he's coming from, right? Like he's like, as it were, he was going with Rav Shach so much, when Rav Shach died, they carried him on a lunka in Rav Shach's vaya. So the one is like going 100% with Rav Shach, all of a sudden he comes up with strange, and Judas Rav Shach himself also came up with strange things. He had, like, you know, Yoel Schwartz, and Yoel Schwartz was connected very much with the
Nachum Haredi. Well, tell our listeners that your son was in the Nachum Haredi.
It's true, I admit. And I wasn't against it. Again, I wasn't for it. He didn't ask me. My son, he wants. My son is also a strange person, to put it mildly. What do you call it? I think Rav Shach gave Rav Schwartz heter to be Isaac with the Goyim, the 7 mitzvahs. He wasn't like, you know, this was not like something you could say, you know, you'd expect to happen. But the fact that Rav Steiner,
especially since the Lubavitcher Rebbe was Makdim Rav Schwartz.
I don't know who was first Taka, I don't know. But each one was doing something different, but I don't know. You could make a list, maybe. I'm not really that familiar with Rav Shach. Maybe you could make a list of like these strange things that he did, like open to the world. But as long as you don't make a sheet out of it, so it depends on the whim of Rav Shach or on the whim of Rav Steiner. And all you know is that auerbach is going to be more strict than of Steiner. That's all you know. You don't really know what's causing Rav Steinman to do what he does. So it's not good. It's extremely confusing. I'm not a yeshiva boy. I mean, I'm not choosing between Rav Steinman and auerbach. But I remember once I met a boy years and years ago, and he was totally confused and like out of it, like, you know, totally off the tracks, because he didn't know if Rav Shach was right or if Lubavitcher Rebbe was right. And this drove him to complete, like, losing anyway. He couldn't choose which way was right, so he was off always. It's not good.